welcome back to A Mama and Her Cookies. I am Micah and today we are in the kitchen for the very first time. Not my very first time, but our very first time together. Isn't this special? So for my husband and I, we have a Saturday night tradition that is common to many around the world of pizza night and movie night. Now, since we switched over to eating whole food plant-based, pizza has just not been the same. It turns out pizza is not pizza without the cheese. We don't really like the vegan cheese alternatives because they have a lot of preservatives, a lot of additives, and they're mostly just oil. They're just really not very good for you. And that's part of the reason that we consider ourselves to be whole food plant-based and not just vegan, because we try and look at the whole spectrum of health. So after many recipes that really just didn't make the cut for pizza on our cheese, oops, we finally found one by the Vegan 8. I will link her recipe down below. It is amazing. And as you will see today, I follow her recipe, but it is a very rough version because I am not your typical cook. It's great because it has no tapioca starch. Who has that at home? No nutritional yeast, which some people hate, some people can't eat, some people have no idea what it is. And it is oil-free. So what you're left with is only eight whole food ingredients. This is like the easiest recipe ever. You basically take all of the ingredients, add it to a blender, and that's it. You have the option to cook it to firm it up a little bit if you're gonna be using it on something like grilled cheese sandwiches, quesadillas. I find it's not necessary for pizza, which is what we're doing tonight. So without further ado, here is the best vegan mozzarella cheese that we have found yet, and we will love it till we die. Here it is! So I've got all my ingredients right here. We're gonna start off with half a cup of vegetable broth. We use just the organic low sodium. Actually, I don't think it's even low sodium. Full sodium, you guys, whatever. We're gonna just start throwing this stuff into the blender. Actually, before you start throwing stuff into the blender, you're gonna wanna cook your potato because it's gonna take a little minute. All right, so you can cook the potato however you want. It's gonna be one gold potato. It says to use a half a cup, but I always just like throw the whole potato in there. We cook it in the microwave. We tried it first in the Instant Pot. It's taking forever. So you can just wrap it in a wet paper towel, throw it in the microwave. Don't forget to poke some holes in it because it splashes you in the face. Like I said, we're not so proper over here. Usually we don't use the microwave. We try and reheat our food either in the not in the microwave, in the oven or on the stove. But for something like this, it's just so much easier. You're gonna throw it in for like 2 minutes, swap out the paper towel, another 2 minutes. It should be good by then. So while that is going, ignore the noise in the background. We're gonna keep going with this recipe with 1/4 of a cup of yogurt. We use this unsweetened, plain, dairy-free coconut yogurt. You can use whatever you want. I would suggest, though, for sure sticking with like a plain unsweetened version. You do not want sweet yogurt in your cheese. You put your yogurt in, you've done your vegetable broth, got the potato going. Up next is a half a cup of raw cashews. Please, please, please don't make the mistake I did once of getting roasted and salted cashews, thinking that they were basically the same. They are not. So, half a cup. In it goes. Up next, you're gonna wanna have some either cooked rice on hand, or you're gonna need to very quickly cook some rice. You want like about 1/4 of a cup. You can use white rice. I use brown rice just because that's what we eat, and it works great. Up next is 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. I actually sometimes do a little bit more because I love like the tanginess of the cheese. 1 tablespoon. And just let it spill over a little bit. Another great source of tang is lemon juice, and you're only gonna do a teaspoon, but again, you can do a little bit more. That's a little bit of love. And lastly, you're gonna do 1 teaspoon of salt. I do end up adding a little bit more salt, I think, at the end. But that's the beauty of a recipe. It doesn't have to be followed. All right, our potato is fresh out of the microwave. Too hot for me to grab. It's steaming, it's escaping. Okay, let's test it. It's perfect. So I'll probably throw in this whole thing, even though it calls just for 1/2 cup. I mean, that's half a cup, right? All right, you guys, those are our 8 ingredients. They're all in the blender, and we are gonna start this thing up. Okay, so I know I said I was gonna just throw in the whole potato, but like that was like a pretty big potato. So we're gonna try it out with like the 2/3 of it that I got in there, see how it tastes. If we want it a little bit creamier, we'll add the rest of it. I should also mention here, this will not work in any like regular blender. You're gonna need a high-speed blender like a Blendtec or a Vitamix, or you're going to need to soak your cashews overnight. But let's be honest, who's thinking about dinner the night before? Not me. So we got a blend tech. There you have it. At this point, you're gonna definitely wanna check it because with those very precise measurements that I made, there's gonna be some adjusting needing to happen. I would also suggest not cooking in this way if you are cooking for guests because it's not like super sanitary. Hey, I did pretty good. That's like perfect. So as you can see, this texture is really nice and creamy. If we were to put it in the oven, it would thicken up a lot more. If you put it in the fridge overnight, it's gonna thicken up a lot more too. But this is ready to just slather right on top of your pizza. It is so good. So as a disclaimer, this will not taste like normal cheese. It's not normal cheese, okay? But when you start switching the way that you eat, your taste buds change. For us, it's a fantastic alternative. So here are the 3 reasons we love this recipe. Number 1, simple ingredients that we typically have on hand. The only thing that you may not have on hand is like the coconut yogurt, but it's pretty simple, even Walmart carries it. Number 2, it is so creamy and spreadable. It even works as a fondue, which we just tried last week, and that was a fun experience. And number 3, it is easy. Look at how quick that was, just like 5 minutes. I mean, you watched me do the whole entire thing, and if you actually follow the recipe like you're probably supposed to, the Vegan8 suggests you just put it all straight into your blend tech and just use a kitchen scale to measure it out by grams, which is super easy. So, are you ready to make the jump to a vegan quesadilla, pizza, grilled cheese sandwich? Or are you ready to take it to the next level and get fondue and fake cheese? That's not what I was gonna say when it came out like that. Or are you ready to take it to the next level and have vegan cheese, fondue, and tofu? All right, everybody, thank you for joining me in my messy kitchen today. I promise I will clean up after this. We will see you next time in the next video. Have a balanced day.